Have you ever just stood in the middle of your city and thought, wow, this place is a chaotic masterpiece? You know, a maze of winding roads, but then there's a park placed just perfectly. Well, you're not totally wrong. It turns out there's a method to the madness. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that hidden blueprint that shapes pretty much your entire daily life. I mean, really think about it. Your commute to work, that one street that's always frustratingly narrow, or that little park that's become your personal escape from all the concrete and noise. Yeah, none of that is an accident, not even close. It's all part of a much bigger design, almost like a secret language that planners and architects use to build the world around us. So what do you say? Ready to crack the code with me? All right, let's dive in. Okay, so where do you even start when you're planning something as huge as a city? Well, the very first thing you have to do is draw a line on a map and say, this is the area we're working with. But it turns out there are a few different ways to define what a region actually is. So, first up, you can let Mother Nature draw the map for you. That's what we call a physiographic region. Just look at the Yamuna River Basin. Its boundaries aren't set by some government committee. They're literally carved into the earth by the flow of water. It's a region designed by the planet itself. But, you know, regions are about more than just mountains and rivers. They're about us, about people. Think about the National Capital Region, the NCR. That's a map drawn by our daily lives, right? It's the invisible lines we create every time we commute to work, go shopping, or visit family. It's a region that's defined by our connections to each other. And then you have the lines that, let's be honest, often matter most to the people in charge. Administrative regions. These are the official, hard and fast boundaries drawn by governments. They decide who's in charge of what. The National Capital Territory of Delhi? That's a classic administrative region, and it's where the real planning power is held. Now, just because a bunch of towns are in the same region, that doesn't mean they're all equal. Oh no. There's a secret power ranking going on, a kind of hidden hierarchy of cities, and it's all brilliantly explained by this idea called Central Place Theory. It really just boils down to two key ideas: threshold and range. Think about it like this. Your local Kirana store probably only needs a couple hundred people in the neighborhood to stay in business. That's its threshold. But a massive super specialty hospital? It needs a whole city full of people to keep its doors open. And range? Well, you'll walk a few minutes for some milk, but you'd probably drive across the entire city for a major surgery, right? See how that works? And just like that, you have the building blocks for an entire hierarchy of settlements. It starts with the tiny hamlet, grows into a village, then a town, a city, a sprawling metropolis, and finally, the giant megalopolis, like the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. Each step up that ladder means more people, more services, and more influence. It's basically a fascinating urban food chain, and we're all living in it. So we've looked at the big picture, how regions are drawn, how cities are ranked, but how does that massive 30,000-foot view actually translate down to the street you live on? Well, it's not magic. It's a very specific step-by-step process. Let's call it the planning ladder. And the very first rung on this ladder is, well, it's a doozy. We are not talking about a 5-year plan here. We're talking about planning for the next generation. The very first document, the perspective plan, lays out a vision for the next 20 to 30 years. Can you imagine? Talk about playing the long game. Okay, so you start with that huge 30-year vision. From there, you get the regional plan, which is all about making sure different cities work together and don't pave over everything important. Then comes the one you've probably heard of, the master plan. This thing is the holy grail for a city. It's the actual legal map that says what can be built where. But we're not done. The zonal plan zooms in on specific neighborhoods. And finally, the local area plan gets down to the nitty-gritty of your actual plot of land. It's an incredible cascade from vision to reality. Now, of all those steps, you could argue the Zonal Development Plan, or ZDP, is one of the most important. Think of it like a translator. It takes the big, sweeping ideas of the citywide master plan and turns them into a practical, on-the-ground guidebook for your specific neighborhood. Without the ZDP, that grand vision for the city would just stay a vision. It's the critical link that actually brings the blueprint to life. So, there you have it. From those invisible lines that define our regions, to the complex power ranking of our cities, and all the way down that planning ladder, there really is a hidden order to all the urban chaos. It's this deliberate, multi-layered process that is constantly shaping the world right outside your window. So what are the big takeaways here? First, remember that regions can be defined by nature, by people's daily lives, or by the government. Second, there's that secret power ranking of cities, all based on the services they can offer. And third, this amazing ladder of plans is what takes a 30-year dream and turns it into the pavement on your street. It's a pretty fascinating system, and now you're in on the secret. But that leaves us with a huge million-dollar question. This system, it was designed for the cities of the past. As we rush towards a future of these massive, sprawling megalopolises, is our old blueprint still going to work? Or are we basically trying to build the cities of tomorrow with the tools of yesterday? Now that's a question we all really need to start thinking about.